Hello, my name is Sean Smith. I'm from Peterborough and I'm with. Oh, let me do that again. Yeah. I'm Sean Smith. I'm from Peterborough and I'm with 5 Minutes with Fletch.
Yeah, a couple weeks back, you rode in your words to me yesterday a glorified pit bike,
Yeah.
Chinese bike.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
How was that?
The slam bike. Um, it was it was horrendous. Yeah, it was horrendous. It's a glorified pit bike. It's a cheap way to get into the sport, and it's based like a recreational bike. It's very good in that sense, but as a full blown motocross bike, we took it to race it. It held up all day. It didn't have any issues apart from ripping off the rear brake. But apart from that, it held up all day, and I'd done okay on it. Yeah, not bad at all.
So if someone's looking to get into this sport and they want to spend as little money as possible, would you say that'd be a good way to start?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If you're just looking for a budget, cheap way getting into the sport, a reliable bike, they are cheap Chinese bike. That's what they are. I think they retail about £1,700. It is a cheap way, and you'll get endless fun on it. I mean, I literally held it wide open all day on the limiter, and it didn't fail. So yeah, if it can stand that, it can stand a few 10-minute motos around a practice track.
Like £1,700 for a bike,
Yeah.
or 10 grand for a bike.
Yeah. The sport has evolved, and it is, it's expensive like anything now. It's expensive, but as an entry level bike, just to get involved, yeah, it's great.
I've seen that second race, you took a win there.
I did, yeah, but yeah. I mean, yeah, there was a little bit of cheating, there was, and yeah, and it was it's an ACU junior race, so the competition wasn't like full blown championship riders, but I was on a cheap Chinese bike with, I mean, it's got about 21 brake horsepower. Do you know what I mean? So it was a bit challenging, but yeah, I had to give myself a little bit of a head start. So
So like when you're riding round, obviously you get to test a lot of different bikes.
yeah.
What's been your favourite one to ride?
Oh, my my favourite, I think, because it was the most exotic, was probably the Aprilla. Um, it's a 2010 bike. Aprilla came into the motocross world, and then bikes were running in GPs. It's a V twin, but it was just so exotic, and for me it was lovely to ride. I enjoyed every second of it. Max didn't like it, but yeah, I loved it. But I've rode some lovely, fantastic bikes. I've went over to Slovenia, and then rode a track in Croatia with the Flux Performance, the Flux Moto bike, which is an electric bike that's going to rival the Start. Do you know what I mean? That was a very good bike. I'm very lucky. I have rode some really, really nice bikes before anybody else. So yeah, it's a bit of a dream.
I think like being a test rider, you get to test instead of just having one bike to ride.
Yeah.
You can ride loads of different bikes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that is the beauty of it, especially when you get a test, and you get to test these bikes. It's great because you can jump off one onto the other. You can compare them all. Do you know what I mean? And then understand how the bike works, the geometry of it. Most bikes now are very, very similar. They are very similar. I think it comes down to personal preference, whoever you can get the best deal with. But no bike sort of excels any other. Do you know what I mean? They're all very good. I mean, the Triumph's just come on the scene. That's a very good bike. And hopefully, when the Ducati comes along, we get a test on that.
Have you managed to ride the Triumph yet?
Yeah, I've done a test on the Triumph, yeah, and it's a very, very refined bike. There's everything about it. The infrastructure they've put into it. They've not missed anything. They've just refined absolutely everything there is to refine on a motocross bike: chassis, suspension, engine, electrics. Everything is just top notch. So it'll be a very, very good bike. I mean, they're released now anyway, but they are very, very good.
And I think what a lot of people were saying is they've almost taken parts from every different brand
They have, yeah,
and put it into one.
yeah. That's exactly what they did. So it is. You know, looking at it, you do think, oh, it's KTM, but it's not. It's influence. There's an influence there from a KTM. There's an influence there from Yamaha. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they've done. But I rode. I was the other week. I was, you know, riding the 2025 GasGas, which is the new generation frame, and that's very, very good as well. So when that hits the market, I think that'll be, yeah. I mean, the Austrian brands are very good, but what they've done with that chassis now, yeah, I think it's going to be very hard to beat.
So then you, as on the same days you rode the Slam, you
Yep,
obviously rode the 25 GasGas
I
in
did.
another
Yeah,
class.
yeah,
Did you prefer riding a GasGas?
yes. I mean, we're a little bit spoiled with the GasGas because it's come from Austria and it is dripping with you know, aftermarket parts. So it's got the full suspension, you know, WP stuff. It's got acro on it, you know what I mean, and a few of the bits and bobs. So we have been a little bit spoiled with it, and the only way I can describe it is like riding on a cloud because it didn't really, you know, it didn't really feel the bumps. So it was a joy to ride.
So you think once they hit the market, they're going to be like the best seller?
Um, yeah, I mean it's hard to predict that, but they were what they've done to that chassis from the 23, 24. Yeah, it's very, very good. I know it's got the you know, the full blown WP stuff on it, but it's still the geometry of the chassis and how it flexes is, yeah, they've brought that back into it. So yeah, I think it'll definitely be a rival for every other brand out there. So yeah, they'll be hard to beat.
Like next season, what bike do you think you're racing the over 50 championship? Obviously, you're like what two-time champion in that.
Yeah, the British, yeah, 2 times champion. Yeah, I like riding 250Fs. You know what I mean? They are a little bit tweaked, so they're not standard. But you know, I get on with the 250F. I feel I can ride it harder and faster, and I don't feel at a disadvantage against the 450 at all. I've ridden 450s, and for me, they're just a bit too powerful. I can't seem to, you know, get to grips with them. I don't feel that I'm heavy enough in body weight to control it. So 250F, and yeah, I would. I mean, these, you know, I've got these, and they're the old generation chassis up to 23, and they work well. So, you know, we'll see. I'll probably be on this again next year. Do you know what I mean? Unless something else comes along.
Like, what's been your worst bike you've ridden?
What, as a test?
Yeah. Would you say it's the Slam, or would you say it's one of like the older ones?
No, it'd be the Slam. Yeah, yeah, because you know, even them older Evo bikes, you know what I mean? They're very good. You know, even though they were like mid 80s, end of the 80s bikes, they're still very, very good. Yeah, I'd ride one of them over a Slam all day long. Yeah, definitely.
How
Yeah.
was your cold takeout?
How was what? Sorry.
How was your cold takeout in the end?
How was my cold?
How's your cold Chinese?
Oh, right. My takeaway, disgusting, as you could see from the video. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't very nice. But that was one of the forfeits. You know, cheap Chinese bite, you get a cheap Chinese meal. That's how it worked. Yeah, it was all for a bit of fun. Do you know what I mean? You know, that's all it was. Bit of fun, make content.
Thanks for your time.
Well, Fletch, thanks very much.
That was 5 minutes of Fletch with Sean Smith. Don't forget to like and subscribe. 8.